Hi ladies, this is Pam from Cards from the Heart. Tonight we're going to try, for the very first time, Chloe's Creative Cards, her new release. This is the vellum that's pre-printed. And so I have pulled out a pink one. And you have to line it up. I find it easier to see on this one, I think. You can't really tell till it's closed. Let's take a look. And so it needs to, well, the top one is okay, but this one, the bottom is kind of off a little. Now, I brought this up on the butterfly one, that there is a difference to the puffiness and such. There is a difference if you die cut them and then emboss them, they come out a lot nicer, but she has designed these sheets so you didn't have to do that. Let's take a look and see how it's lining up now. I was going to trim a little off the top like she did in her video. They're not lining up perfectly, probably as well as they were intended to. Okay, that looks pretty good there. I'm going to close it and make sure. Okay. Now, I have tried on my Empress, I have noticed that my two regular plates, my two A plates, are a little, just a tad bowed, and it doesn't seem to like the thickness of this 3D embossing folder. So what I have done is I grabbed one of my Big Shot plates, generic plates, and I'm going to run that through so that has embossed these. Now I am going to have an A plate, and I have a brand new magnet mat. Isn't that beautiful new? I wish they stayed like that, but they don't. I go through sometimes a couple of them a month, depending on how much cutting I'm doing. And y'all know I do a lot of cutting. So here's the die, and we're going to line that up. Now, I'm not using tape. My magnetic plate is very strong when it's new, so I try to avoid using tape on my dies because it tends to be hard to come off. I did buy some new tape. Okay, so those are fitting in there very nicely, and I'm going to be using my A plate. I'm not going to try a shim because this is a brand new magnet. I also do not have the metal shim in there. I'm going to see how well this cuts with the brand new magnet without the shim. Okay, that cut well. And these didn't. Okay, I am going to, you shouldn't need the shim at the very beginning of a brand new mat, but I am going to try to line these up again. Okay, and to put the metal shim in, I really don't want to because I don't want to squish the new plate, but we're going to see if that helps it. And let's put this in. Now, I'm brand new to Chloe's Peony, so we are practicing together tonight. So I haven't really got some shaping techniques down yet of what I want to do. So this is what they look like once they've been die cut. Okay, I'm sorry, I was checking to see if I was in frame. Okay, so I have cut some extras of these. And we're going to have to figure out how we're going to shape them. So the peony is meant, from looking at the picture on the packaging, the peony is a series of layers kind of cupped up. So I'm gonna try rounding, using a rounding technique at first. Again, like I said, I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to take a round object. I'm going to try different sizes. I'm going to use this size. And I'm going to use this size, which is a little bigger. And don't worry about the ends. We're not using the ends. I'm just trying to find something that is circle. Now, I don't want to, if I'm going to round them up, and I don't know how strong these are, I'm going to hold, and I'm just going to lightly curve, and I'm holding on tight here with my fingers. I'm just trying to curve these up. And okay. Now, she has them on the package that she's just glittered the outside edge. If I would have a preference, I would prefer to make these glitter flowers, but we are going to do it the way that she showed it first. And I'm just kind of, let me see if I can like curve it this way and let go. That does a little better. So what I'm doing is I'm holding my finger on the edge and I'm just kind of wrapping it around and rolling it. Now, see, I have a little white area on this one showing. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit. To get that off. And now that one curved a little too much. Okay, and I'm going to take a sponge mat and I'm going to take a round ball and I'm just, oh, unfortunately these break very easily. So maybe I'll use that for an inner piece. So what I'm going to do is just put a little glue there. And I'm just going to glue this piece on. And we'll use this for a bottom one. So let's see if I can do this a little easier. I'm just kind of pushing in the center a little bit. And I am curling these around. So if I offset these, and I don't know how many she's using. I think we might want to glitter the edges first. So let me get a scrap piece of paper. And okay, this time I'm using Crystal Crush of Chloe's glitter. And I am just going to go around the edges. I'm just going to use a scrap piece of paper here. So what I'm doing is going around the edges, the outer edges. And I'm actually going a little deeper than I would with just the chisel tip. Running it on the edge because this is kind of a thin edge to run around, and I'm just trying to glue those tips. Okay, that gave them some sparkle. So I'm going to do that with all of them. And I have the ridges from the embossing up, not on the opposite side. So I'm just kind of, you know, running some along the edge here. Now the Crystal Crush is not, it's opaque, whereas the bottom color won't shine through, the glitter will shine. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish. Now on the butterflies, I wanted it to shine through so we didn't lose the coloring. So there's a little bit of white edges on this one, and hopefully the glitter will cover it up. Okay, there's 2. We've got 3 of them, and while we're at it, let's just do all the layers. I'm just kind of drawing around. I'm not going along the edge. I'm just... You can use whatever your favorite glitter is. I had bought the refills of the Crystalina and the Blue Crush, which Chloe sells in a 3-ounce size, which you can put in this container, in a plastic container, and do dipping like I'm doing now. Now, I am using her colored printed vellum, but I also later want to try with these dies some other type of flowers. I like to be able to try to shape things different ways. Okay. Now this one, see, was off on how it lined up. So I'm going to do, I want to make sure that I covered the areas that are pink, so that hopefully I can still use the flower even though it wasn't lined up properly. Yeah, that's fine. And these, the top layers I'm choosing to go around kind of up the sides too. Oh, I missed a petal here. Okay. And okay, let's do this last. I think we've got them all. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, I've got 3 big ones, 1, 2, 3 smaller ones, and 1, 2, I'm missing one. So let's close this up and let's see what we've got to work with. So I am taking my first one, and you saw how I rounded it. This is another one, and if I offset it, I almost think I want to pop dot it. I don't know what you ladies think. Let's I dropped my marker and it went somewhere, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Oh, way behind me. Okay. Let's get a little bit of Chloe's tape, and I am going to cut some squares for some layers. So I'm going to try to be more careful with the ball this time, so we don't get one to rip again. And I think I'm going to place a dot in the center. Now, of the foam I grabbed, this might be the 3mm foam. You can use 2mm also. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to offset these ladies. Okay. Now, I don't know how many she used. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe she used 2 of each size. So let me take this one, and I am going to kind of curl it in and up. Vellum's a little harder to curl than paper. This would be the next size, but it seems like it's a kind of a big step in size. And let me find one of these little squares, and okay, so I put a little piece of square there. I'm going to peel it off, and I'm going to hot glue the center, and I'm going to offset this again. Okay, I'm going to take another one of the same size. just gonna put a piece of foam. I'm gonna offset this again. I'm just kind of cupping it a little bit around. And so that gives us 2 of the largest, 2 of the medium, and let's do 2 of the small. So these are a little smaller, so I'm going to go a little smaller with my curling tool. And I'm just going to carefully just roll those in. Okay. And this one I don't think I'm going to pop up. I'm just going to put some glue in the center. And I'm going to offset it. And last but not least, now she has some stamen inserts that come with the die set, and we're going to check those out. I don't know what I'm going to cut them out of, but I want a darker center. So I'm going to offset this last one as best as I can. Okay, and now the die comes with a couple different size of these. Now in the picture, she's got kind of a dark center showing. So I'm not sure what we should cut it with, but do we want to see silver and then maybe a brown or a black? Let's try cutting these. Let me grab some scrap paper. So I'm going to grab some black, and I see if I have a piece of silver here. Okay. So I have some scrap card, and I'm not sure, since this is the first time doing it, what they're going to look like. So I'm going to cut them both out of silver, both of silver and black card. So let's set that aside. And I'm going to take my metal shim out, since this is a new mat. And I am going to cut in some black, these two, and then we'll cut some in silver, and we will see what looks the best. Wants that metal shim. It's not cutting that well. So let's see if I can line this back up. Oh, that one's not going. So I'm going to put a metal shim in. And see if they cut better. The black card I'm using is a little thick. Probably if we use regular paper, it would probably work better. Let's see what we've got. Okay, this time we got it to come out. And then I have a small one and a big one. And I'm also gonna cut it out in silver. And we will figure out which one we like the best. Okay, so we've got silver and we've got black. Let's see, ladies, what we like. Going back to her pictures, it looks like a Peony has a dark center. So I am going to kind of fold these up a little bit. Now, I would think that would just go, that's too big for if you use the little ones. So we're going to have to use a little one. And we will try to make the Peony again, but not use kind of use more of the other layers and not the tiniest layer. I think that looks pretty good. So the object's going to be to put a little tap of glue on this and try to get it in the center. Getting something in the center is always not my strong suit, that's for sure. Okay, so here we have the Peony. And now I'm going to grab a center. That's purple. Now, I really like the sharpness of this one, but I think it's too big for that small stamen, so I'm going to go down to a 12 millimeter size, which is that. And we'll put a dot of hot glue in there. And okay, ladies, so that is how Chloe has you make a peony. Now, I can see these petals as really pretty, all glitter flowers, and just like the magnolia where I made a whole bunch of different versions of it, I'm going to try to do that with the peony also. So, there is your peony. We will end here, and I will come back with another video, and let's make a card with our peony and our butterflies. Okay, ladies, we'll be back in a few minutes.